is also there. Okay, right. So we have a PPT. I will forward the PPT kind of stuff. Okay. So what is this DHCP? We'll see. Anybody? What is DHCP?
Dynamic host configure protocol.
Very good.
Configuration protocol. Right.
Right. Dynamic host configuration protocol. Why it is happening here? Dynamic host configuration protocol. So when you say it's a protocol, so then there must be a port numbers. So port numbers are 67, 68. It is having a two port numbers. Remember. Okay. What is DHCP? It's a service. Okay, DHCP service. Okay, so
Generates
UP
it allocates it.
assign what I'm typing also I'm not IP address to
To clients.
client devices or PCs dynamically, or we can say automatically. Dynamically or automatically. So it assign IP address to client devices. Okay. So when we are saying device, meaning is it can be a PC, laptop, mobile phone, or anything. Okay, mobile phone, tablets, or like that. So DHCP server or a service assign IP address to clients automatically. Okay, so this is the first thing. Now assigning assigning IP address. When you say assigning IP address, there is a two ways. First one is, look at here, it is manual, also called as a static IP. Static IP means user assigned himself to it. Next one is dynamic way. Dynamic means sorry. Automatic. Automatic means dynamic IP address. So static IP address is a constant, cannot be changed automatically. So you have to change manually. So when you want to change the IP address, you can change IP address manually. So it won't change automatically. But dynamic IP address, it changes automatically, depends upon the your network. Okay, depends upon your network. Okay. So guys, I will tell a few differences. We'll see that one. So if you have a network, so you can assign IP address automatically, dynamically. As for the new kind of stuff, so we'll see the DHCP related one. So instead of telling DHCP, DHCP, I will tell very simplest thing. Okay, so guys, you have a laptop, or maybe you have a desktop computer. Okay, maybe you have a tablet, Maybe you are having a mobile phones. Okay. Now, in generally, in your home, you are not putting any IP address to communicate, right? I have a laptop. I didn't assign any IP address to my laptop to communicate, but still I can able to communicate. Why? Because of I have my router. My router is acting like a DHCP server. So my router act like my DHCP server. This DHCP server will assigning IP address to my laptop, desktops, mobile phones through Wi-Fi network or a wired network like that. Okay, so it is configuring automatically. So what is the advantage of it? I know how to assign IP address, but my father don't know, my mother don't know, my nephew, my sister, they don't know how to assign IP address, what IP address they have to assign. So they don't know. But if you want to communicate in the network, you must have an IP address. You must have a IP address. So this is my router. My router having a pool of IP address. Pool of IP address. So these IP addresses are distributed to the devices, those who are connected to it. Those who are connected to it. So this is very simple way of understanding is DHCP. Next, when you compare with the manual, of course, manual is static, so cannot changed by cannot change automatically. Meaning is when network changes, when you change a network, for example, I have my mobile phone now, so my mobile phone is having a some IP address, right? So my mobile phone having a some IP address, or my laptop got a some IP address now. Now I am went to Hyderabad office or my sister's home. They're different network. They're having different network. Their DHCP server will assign us some different IP address, right? As per their network, I will get an IP address. I went to some relative's house, or maybe I went to office. Depends upon that network, I will get an IP address automatically. Automatically. If in case, if I use a manual IP address for my laptop or mobile phone, so what happens? If I change my network, means I'm here in my home place, means my hometown. I'm getting some IP address through my so I am using some IP address in this network. Now I have to go to Hyderabad. So then maybe Hyderabad office I have to go. Again I have to ask what is the IP address I can use it. Okay, or what is the network you are using? So then based on that I will assign an IP address to my PC. So what is it? Again, it is again trouble, right? So every time you change the network, so again you have to change your IP address. Another example, when I was in my room, my home, my room in Pune, so then there is a router which assigns an IP address to my laptop. So when I am going to office, morning 9 o'clock, I went to the office, and there in my office there is a router. That is router will give me a IP address. When it is completed 6:30, then I pack everything and came back to my home. Again it is saying again I will get an IP address based on my home, right? So I'm not configuring manually. If I do configuring daily 2 times, I have to change my IP address manually. So that is first point. It means when you change the network, user no need to change the IP address manually, because of DHCP server IP address is automatically assign IP address to you. So when you are into the network, that is a manual IP address. Okay, guys. Second point. So here is my computer. I assign an IP address here. So 192.168.10.20. And here I assign 192.168.10.21. Okay. So manually I'm assigning one by one IP address. Now what will happen? This is 168. This will not look like 168 or what? Tell me. You look at the scenario. Tell me what will happen. Three are in the same network.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
And 20, 21,
20.
again 20.
This 22, sir.
This must be a 22, but manually I
Yes, sir.
given same IP address. It will generate conflict.
Conflict.
The
Yes, sir.
conflict
Communication
is
not done.
error.
Then there's a conflict.
Okay. When you have a same IP address for two or more devices, it's a conflict. When conflict is error. Very good. Got the point. Very good. Okay. So manually there is a possibility of conflict. There is a possibility of conflict. Second, here I am going to assign one more IP address here. 192 dot
168.
so what happened here? What happened? Manually assign an IP address to this one. Is it going to communicate or not?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir, it will communicate.
It will communicate.
To communicate between two networks, what is the important thing is
Same network.
network ID must be matches. Is network ID is matching or not? Class C, first three are a network IDs. 192.168.10. What is here?
Network version.
192.16. So 168. So I given wrong, right?
Oh, yes, sir.
Okay, I given wrong. So they won't communicate each other. So manually by typing, right? So when I type, I do a lot of mistakes when I typing number or maybe I typing something. So I can do mistakes. Possible mistakes will happen. So this is another one. So maybe you may give wrong IP address. So in a manual, IP address cannot change automatically. Maybe it is a positive point or negative point, but there is a problem with the static IP address. We'll do so negative point first, like a more number of devices, more burden or more administrative workload. Okay, so for a 10 computers, you may assign 20, 30, 40, 50, 100. Like if you keep increasing number of devices, so manually assigning is very difficult. More number of devices means more administrative workload or a burden. Second one is possible wrong IP address assigned. Okay. Next, conflict may occur. Conflict may occur. So this is manual. Okay. So more burden, possible wrong, and conflict will occur. Of course, manual is very important where you don't want to change an IP address frequently. Where we use where we need not to change IP address frequently, mostly on servers. Okay, it don't change automatically. That is another point. So every day same IP address it will maintain. Okay, like this. There is about a manual IP address, and come to the dynamic IP address can change IP address automatically. IP address changes when you change a network. No wrong IP address assigning, so then no conflict, okay.
No workload.
No means no conflict, and also we can say automatically solves. I will tell what is automatically solves. Yes, less workload.
Less workload.
Less workload means no need to like 100 computers, 200 computers. So automatically they will get an IP address, right? So both user side and the admin side workload is very less. Yeah, no conflicts, and of course it automatically solved means what will happen. I will explain this. Okay, so for example, guys, this is the server. I statically assign this IP address. I statically assign this IP address. Good. Okay. So in this one, what will happen? In dynamically, when dynamically IP address are assigning, right? It is assigned to this PC. It is like a 20, 21, 23. Okay. So it will keep assigning. This is 24 like that. Okay. Dynamically it is assigning IP address 21, 22 should be assigned, but 23, 24 assigned. Okay. Now it is not assigning to this one. It don't assign DHCP. 1 second. It is this is static. Okay, IP address. This is a server. So IP address is static. So means manual. Means it is not a DHCP client. Meaning is it is not a DHCP client. So what will happen? So it won't get a IP address from DHCP server. Don't get a IP address from DHCP server. So obviously no DHCP communication. It is static. Okay. Next. So DHCP given IP address to this PC like this. And DHCP don't know 20 is given here. 20 is given here. So what it is done? By accidentally it is given to this network. What it is done? It is given 20 here. Conflict.
Of course.
Okay. Conflict is generated because DHCP don't know there is a 20 is already given for a certain computer in the network. In the network, I have a 10 computers, 20 computers are there. So there is a some statically assigned computer is there. But DHCP don't know, and it is assigned an IP address to APs. If everything is by DHCP, no problem. But it is what happened. There is a mixer network is there. One device is a static, another one is dynamic. It is assigned to this. So conflict is occur. When conflict is occur, so DHCP server understand, yes, there is a conflict. Okay, so when it is assigned this IP address to here, and there is a conflict. So what happened? There is a noise. So one second. Okay. So when there is a conflict is between two devices, DHCP server sends a conflict is occurred at this device. So immediately it change this IP address to which is available. Change this IP address to which is available, like a 22 or 25, which is next available. It change the IP address. So then conflict will be reduced. Guys, understand? So even though conflict is occurred, DHCP server solve that issues. No conflicts. If conflict is occur also, like this. So this is the difference between manual and automatic IP address assignment. So statical or manual IP addresses are more powerful. Why? Because manually you are assigning, and mainly you are assigning to your servers or a stable devices like a printers, servers, storage devices. Okay, like only one constant IP you want to maintain, then you will give static IP address. All regular devices, moving devices, non-moving devices, we assign automatically because that will reduce the burden on individual users. So less possibility of wrong IP address or no wrong IP address, no conflict. If conflict is occurs, it solves automatically. Okay, that is even you change the network, automatically IP address will be changed according to that network. Okay. Lot of people confuse between DHCP and router. Guys, DHCP is a open protocol. A DHCP server can be anything, like a Windows server, can be a Linux or Unix server, can be a router, can be your Wi-Fi router. Okay, your Wi-Fi router. So any service, your VMware workstation has DHCP service like this. So compulsory check, guys, what is your DHCP server. Now we are going to do, we install DHCP server role. No. I have to explain, right? So first theory, then only practical. Yes, how DHCP server works. How DHCP works. I'm getting throat pain. How DHCP server works. That is a question. Okay, so here it is. I'll show you. Yeah, this is the one. This is the benefits of using DHCP automatical configuration and manual configuration. So go through that one. This is how DHCP server works. Guys, can you able to see the screen now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so visible,
Yes,
sir.
yes, sir.
Okay. Now, if you look at This is the DHCP client. DHCP client send a discovery packet to everyone. If you send a packet to everyone, that is called a broadcast. That is called a broadcast. So DHCP server, sorry, DHCP client broadcast a discovery packet. Guys, remember always server client. Server provide a service, client access the service. This is the server client. What is server? Server provide a service, client access the service. The original point means this is the first point, but there is a opposing point is also there. It means server never provide anything. Never. Until unless client asking for a service. Client has to request, I need this particular thing. I need this particular service. I need a particular information. I need a IP address. I need a authentication. I need a naming resolution. I need a remote desktop. I need a storage. I need a printer. So every time the client has to ask, then only server will give you the service. Then only server will give the service to the client. 2 points. Remember, I will write that one also. Okay. Now what it is done? This is a DHCP client. Don't know where is the DHCP server. Client don't know where is the server. What it is done? It's broadcast a discovery packet. Everyone, it is sending. Are you DHCP server? If you are a DHCP server, give me some information. Okay, give me an IP address like that. Are you a DHCP server? Like that. Client broadcast. Of course, there is a 2 DHCP servers are there. What they done? They broadcast a DHCP offer. So again, we'll go see DHCP server broadcast a DHCP offer packets. DHCP offer packets. What is the offer means? Yes, I am the DHCP server. I am the DHCP server. I have an IP address. Do you want it? So it is broadcast to everyone. It matches by MAC address. So MAC address must be matches. That's a different point. But it broadcasts to everyone. Yes, I am a DHCP server. I have an IP address. Do you want IP address? Like that. So this is DHCP server broadcast offer to the network. Means my client received offer from DHCP server. Point is my DHCP client received a offer from DHCP server. Now DHCP client asking request, yes, I want that IP address. Please give me the IP address. So DHCP client broadcast DHCP request. So yes, I want that IP address. DHCP server finally send a acknowledgement. In that acknowledgement, it contains lease duration and other options in the packet. So this is called a DHCP server process. Yeah, how many people really understand?
Sir, DHCP server knows which client has sent IP, which client is asking IP address.
Yes, but how, based on which systems are identified in the network by 2 ways. One is
IP
My
address.
system will be identified in the network by
Address host name.
IP address.
Very good. Both are correct. MAC address. Second one is IP address. We can identify a device by host name, okay, but systems in the network will identify by MAC address and IP address only, okay. Uniquely identification is IP address. DHCP. Right. Okay, just for a naming purpose. There in a picture we have a multiple DHCP client and server kind of stuff is there. Look at here. If you know if you remember the packet structure, then it is very easy to understand, guys. So this is a DHCP client. The client don't have any IP address because no IP address. That's why it is searching for a DHCP server, no IP address, right? Every packet has a source MAC address, destination MAC address, source IP address, destination IP address. Okay, so this is the packet address data. Meaning is the original packet data will be there, like a PDU or a discovery packet, whatever it is, it will be there. Okay, now we'll see source MAC address. For example, my source MAC address is DC1. It become a C1 is my source MAC address. Destination MAC address I don't know. So then I use a broadcast MAC address because I don't know who is a DHCP server and their MAC address. Source IP. Source IP. What is my IP address? No, I don't have any IP address. Okay. Destination IP address. What is a destination server IP address? Thus, we don't know. Okay. Like this. This is the packet kind of stuff. Okay. So compulsory. Okay, no problem. So see, look at this is a packet. Your packet will forward to, of course, there are connected in the network. Guys, without connecting into the network, nothing will work. Okay, so that is the packet is going to your server. Okay. Like this. Client send a packet to somewhere, like to broadcast the packet. Okay, so when it is received, it receives your discovery packet. So like a DHCP discovery packet client is sending, but client don't have any source IP, but don't know destination IP, no MAC address. It only validity is only MAC address. Validity is only MAC address. There is no valid source IP, destination IP, and destination MAC address. Destinations are broadcast, source is nothing. But it is received same information with the packet. the packet is okay, no problem, but it will only take source MAC address C1. So when it is resending, that is different. So your server received a discover, and again it is broadcast. Again it is broadcast. What is it is broadcasting? DHCP offer. Okay, again it is broadcasting. How it is broadcast? Again, source MAC address, destination MAC address, source IP, destination IP with the offer packet. Okay, how it will broadcast source MAC address. For example, my DAP server also having a MAC address, destination MAC address. I know now. Earlier I don't know, but now I know. Kind of stuff. Source IP. I have my one source IP address. I'm using my server as a DHCP server, right? So like that, or maybe I'll change my DHCP server. Destination. So destination server don't have any IP address. So I use a broadcast as for the destination. So everyone will get a data. So but only one will accept. That is C1 PC. Okay. So this is C1. The computer which is MAC address is also C1. Okay. Just for understanding purpose only, don't worry.
So
Guys,
one
if you
thing,
don't,
sir.
yeah, tell me.
Sir, until assigning of the IP address, so here the communication done through only MAC, sir.
Yes.
Okay, sir. But one of your trainers said here the until assigning of the IP address, here the communication done through only ports. Is it
Port.
possible, sir? Yeah, sir. He said the communication done through ports only until we are assigning the IP address.
Port means maybe his meaning is that one. MAC address. Sizer, I think.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Okay. Don't worry about it. Okay. So it will happen. It's like a language confusion will be there.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Okay. So here it is. Each and every device will identify, means only one final unique thing is MAC address only. So your layer by layer, if your packet is going up, okay, so what it is, physical layer, data link layer. In data link layer, first it will detect MAC address. MAC address matches, accept. Not matches, so be careful with that one. So next matches is IP address. Sometimes both are not matching. Here it is my source, my destination MAC address, destination IP address are not matching with this, but it is accept the packet based on the packet. Okay, based on the service. It understand. Okay, I can receive some packet with a packet matrix inside. Okay, so don't get confused with the MAC address and all kind of stuff. This is the packet structure I'm telling. That's it. Not
Yeah,
much
sir. Okay.
different thing. Okay. Okay. Some people think like it is completely different from here, but point is DHCP, discover, offer, and what is the third one? So again, I'm requesting what it is. Request, and finally acknowledgement. So I am telling a story with packet kind of stuff, but I have a bad hobbies are there. What is the bad hobby? Keep telling same story again and again, different ways. Okay, because of, when you got any question regarding the DHCP, it is very good. It is a good scoring in a DHCP. So look at here. So what is a DHCP? So what are the port numbers? What is the use of DHCP server? Difference between manual assigning and automatic assigning. Okay, so how to check what is your DHCP server? What is instead of what is, where is better. Where is does not mean a physical location. Okay, it is a IP address of DHCP server. Remember that one. Okay, so how to check the IP address means ipconfig /all. So there you can find it. Next you can go to ncpa.cpl network adapter settings. Okay, so open details, status details. There you can find it. Okay, so like that. So gmod also can, how to check the IP address. There you can see the what is your DHCP server. Okay, there only can find it. Yeah. Again, guys, I'm telling story again. This time, earlier first story. It is multiple systems are there. In second story, only 2 systems, but packet wise. Now, no packet, nothing. Just only 2 systems. One is a DHCP client C1. Another one is a DHCP server. DHCP server. So here it is, guys. Remember the story now. Okay, DHCP client. So the client don't have any IP address. The client send a discovery packet to the server. So I will take this little darker. Client send a discovery packet to the server. Server send a offer to the client, IP offer to the client. Client request for an IP address. Server send an acknowledgement to confirm this is an IP address and other configurations like a lease duration and all. So first is a discover, offer, request, acknowledgement. So total it is called as a Dora process. Dora process. So what is a DHCP process? DHCP process called as Dora process. Discover, offer, request, acknowledgement. Got it, guys?
Yes, sir. Got it, sir.
Yes, sir.
DHCP server use Dora process. Okay, because it's a very sensitive, not a sensitive one, scoring one. Scoring. Some earlier days when I trained in this server training and all, so that time when there are attending interviews, I personally understand DHCP is a very useful at a time of server interviews and any basic interviews. Not only now, guys. Later, if in case in future you're attending any interview based on a networking servers or like that, so it is very helpful. Okay, because lot of questions you can able to answer. Active Directory having lot of questions, very difficult to answer. Even we ourselves will confuse. Okay,
Yes, sir.
but DHCP is not like that. So this is a your server. This is a client. Okay, so actually you have to write in a different way. So then it is no. client sending discover to server, okay, and server send offer DHCP offer to the client. Next, client send a request, IP request to the server. Client receives acknowledgement from the server. Okay, so I'm not giving arrow marks. If you want, I will put an arrow marks also, but I will remove these arrow marks when I am uploading. Okay, discover, offer, request, acknowledgement, Dora. Case, if you got the same question in interview, also I will tell how to answer it. Okay, so look at here, guys. Only question is, if in case you got a question how DHCP server works. DHCP server use Dora process, discover, offer, request, acknowledgement. Client send a discovery packets or a client broadcast discovery packet, then server receives and broadcast the offer packets. The client receive an IP offer and send a request to the server for confirmation, and server send an acknowledgement, and acknowledgement is confirm the IP address and configure acknowledgement packet, configure IP address and a lease duration and other options. This is the answer. Okay, I told a big story here 3 times just to understand this very simple part only. Okay, if you start a big thing like this, like a broadcasting or a IP address, MAC address kind of stuff, you'll get confused and you will unable to tell properly. Also possibilities are there. Again, see. Guys, finally, so what is a DHCP thing? So dynamic host configuration protocol, port number 6768. It assign IP address to the client devices dynamically or automatically. So to assign an IP address to the servers is a manual or a automatic type. DHCP server can be anything as like a Windows servers, Linux routers, Wi-Fi routers, your VMware workstations, or maybe some kind of softwares also works for a DHCP service. Okay. To check where is your DHCP server, so you can check it using a command ipconfig space all, like where you check the IP address, there you have to find who is your DHCP server. Okay, and DHCP server is used Dora process, discover, offer, request, acknowledgement. The next point is we are going to install and practically we will do it. So first one is yes. The .1 point we will see, that is the next part is practically how to implement. So that's part I will switch. Okay. Now it is enough because it's long. Guys,